welcome to The World Today on CGTN. I'm Su Yuting in Beijing. Chinese authorities are holding a news conference to report the country's fiscal revenue and expenditure in 2023. Let's go live to the scene to learn more about the budget and plans for 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the press conference of the State Council Information Office. Today, we're very honored to have with us the Vice Finance Minister, Mr. Wang Dongwei, to brief you on the fiscal expenditures and revenues for the year 2023 and take your questions. Today, here with us are also Mr. Wang Jianfan, Director General of the Department of Budget, Mr. Li Xianzhong from the Department of Treasury, and Mr. Hou Junmin from the Department of Asset Management. First, let's give the floor to Vice Finance Minister, Mr. Wang. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good morning. Thank you very much for your long-term interest in and support for the financial work. Today, I'm very happy to be here to brief you on the fiscal revenue and expenditures in 2023. The year 2023 is the first year for fully implementing the guiding principles from the party's 20th National Congress. And it is also a year of economic recovery after China adjusted COVID control measures. The Ministry of Finance adhered to the guidance of Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics of the new era, thoroughly implemented the guiding principles from the 20th National Party Congress, the second plenary session of the 20th CPC Central Committee, and the Central Economic Work Conference. In accordance with the decisions and plans of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, Financial Department at all levels strengthened fiscal macro-control, implemented a proactive fiscal policy, and promoted economic recovery and high-quality development. In 2023, the execution of the national fiscal revenue and expenditure has the following 5 features. First, fiscal revenue maintained a momentum of recovery. Thanks to economic recovery and other factors such as large-scale value-added tax rebates in 2022 that lowered the base, fiscal revenue recovered its growth in 2023. Revenue in the national general public budget exceeded 21 trillion yuan, an increase of 6.4%. Region-wide, budget revenue in the eastern, central, western, and northeastern regions increased by 6.7%, 6.9%, 10.7%, and 12% respectively. And all 31 provinces registered positive growth in fiscal revenue. The second feature is fiscal spending continued to increase. At the beginning of last year, the deficit to GDP ratio was set at 3%. To support post-disaster recovery and reconstruction and improve disaster prevention, mitigation, and relief capacity, in Q4, an additional 1 trillion yuan of government bonds were issued, all of which were allocated to lower-level governments through transfer payments. Expenditure in the general public budget reached 27.46 trillion yuan, an increase of 5.4%. and spending on social security and employment rose by 8.9%. Spending on education increased by 4.5%, spending on science and technology by 7.9%, spending on agriculture, forestry, and water resources by 6.5%, and spending on urban and rural communities by 5.7%. The third feature is policies on tax and fee reductions continued to improve. At the beginning of the last year, it was made clear to continue and optimize some tax and fee policies. And in the second half of last year, owing to new developments in the economic landscape, we further continued and optimized a number of policies on due tax and fees. By doing so, we further reduced the tax burden of business entities and supported high-quality development of the real economy, such as manufacturing. Last year, China added more than 2.2 trillion yuan in tax and fee reductions, refund, and deferrals. The fourth feature is the role of the special local government bonds was brought into fuller play. We allocated 3.8 trillion yuan in special bonds funds for local governments. We gave priority to projects with high maturity and those under construction, instead of trying to cover everything. Another area is we expanded the areas in which special bonds can be invested and used as project capital. And we had 11 areas last year. And we also expanded the areas in which special bonds can be used as investment, and there were 15 areas. Besides, we accelerated the issuance and use of bonds and promoted the construction of a number of transportation, water conservancy, energy, and other major projects that will deliver both immediate and long-term benefits. The fifth feature is that the bottom line of preventing risks was further strengthened. On the one hand, we promoted the formulation of a package debt reduction plan for lower-level governments. We carried out the work to resolve the hidden debt risks of lower-level governments and prevented a build-up of new debts while working to reduce existing ones. On the other hand, we increased transfer payments to lower-level governments to the tune of 10.29 trillion yuan in 2023. We improved the management of award and subsidy funds for the basic financial security mechanism at the county level and ensured those funds would be tilted towards areas with greater pressure to meet basic living needs and relatively weak financial resources. We encouraged financial resources to go toward lower level of governments to ensure basic living needs were met. In 2024, the basic trend of China's economic recovery and long-term improvement will not change. In terms of fiscal revenue, as the effects of macro control policies continued to be released and high-quality development is steadily promoted, a solid foundation will be laid. And fiscal revenue will continue to grow. In terms of fiscal expenditure, we will continue to maintain the necessary intensity and Transfer payments to lower levels of government will also maintain a certain scale. The specific budget arrangements for fiscal revenue and expenditure for 2024 are being refined in accordance with the decisions and plans of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, and will be submitted to the NPC for review and approval. Going forward, the Ministry of Finance will, in accordance with the decisions and plans of the Party Central Committee and the State Council, adhere to the principle of seeking progress while maintaining stability, promoting stability through progress, and establishing the new before abolishing the old. We will coordinate the expansion of domestic demand and deepen the supply-side structural reform, coordinate the new type of urbanization and the full revitalization of rural areas, coordinate high-quality development and high-level security, step up macro control, will adopt a proactive fiscal policy and consolidate the good trend of economic recovery. So that's it for my presentation. Now, my colleagues and I are ready to take your questions. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wang. Now the floor is open. Please affiliate your affiliation before raising questions. Thank you.
咱们这个就是中央经济工作会议提出，这个2024年财政政策要这个适度加力，提质增效哈。我就是想问一下，今年这个财政收支的形势
My question is about the situation for fiscal revenue and expenditure for 2024 and how that policy can effectively support economic recovery. I'm with the Reuters.
谢谢路透社这位先生的提问啊。
Thank you very much for your question.
正如刚才您所提问所说的，这个
As you mentioned
中央
in your question,
经济工作会议啊，
the Central
做
Conference
出明确的部
on
署，
Economic Work
就是要
has
强
made
化
clear instructions
宏观政策的逆周期
to strengthen counter-cyclical and cross-cyclical adjustment of
那
macro
么呢，积
policies,
极的财政政策呢，要适度
and
加力，
that the
提质
proactive
增效。
fiscal policy has to
那
be
么所谓
strengthened and
适
improved
度加力啊
appropriately.
主要是4点。
To appropriately strengthen the
一个呢，就是
proactive
保持
policy, there are 4
适当的
points. First, to
释
maintain
放积极的信
a
号。
certain degree of spending
第
and
二呢，
send
就是
positive
合理安
signals.
排政府投资规模，
Second,
发挥好
make
政府投资的。
appropriate arrangements
带动
for
放大效应。
government investment as
那么
a
第三呢，就是
multiplier.
加大均衡性转移支付力度，
And third,
都牢基层三保的底线。
increase transfer payments
第四
for
呢，就是
equalizing
优化
access to
调整
basic public
税费
services
政策，
and never cross the line in
提
securing
高政
people's
策的
basic
精
livelihood
准性、
salaries for the public
针对
sector
性、
and government's
有效
operation
性。
at the grassroots level.
那
And
说
finally,
所谓
improve
的
tax and
提
fee
质增效
policies
呢，
to make them more
就是要
targeted and
在
relevant.
落实过紧日子的要求，优化财政支出结构，
Improving the
强化绩
effectiveness
效
of the
管理，
policies means that the
严
government
肃财经
must
纪律，
live on a tight
增
budget,
强财政可持
optimize the
续性，
structure of fiscal
强
spending,
化政策
strengthen
协同，
performance
这
management,
6个
adhere to
方面呢
financial
下
discipline,
功夫，
enhance financial stability,
大力推进
strengthen policy
财政
synergy,
管理的
a total of 6
科
areas,
学化、
to make sure fiscal
标准化、
management
规
is
范化。
well conceived,
法制化。
standardized, well regulated, and
那
law-based.
么就是要把钱呢
That means
用在刀刃上，关
we
键处
must spend money
同样的
where it's
钱
most needed
花出更大的成效，
and make sure
实
that
现
fiscal
更高的
spending
效益。
is more cost effective.
那么重点呢，主要做好7个方面的
The
工作。
focus is on
一个
supporting
呢
the following
就是实
several
际上也都
areas
7
of
个着
work.
力，一个都是着力支持加快现代化
First,
产业体系建
we'll
设。
focus on supporting the
一方
building
面
of a
呢，
modernized
做好
industrial
财政
system.
补贴、
We
贷
will
款
make
贴
good
息、
use of financial
税收
subsidies,
优惠
loan
等政策
interest
工具，
subsidies,
聚焦
and
新一
other
代的信
tax
息技术、
and
集
policy
成电
tools
路等重点产业
to
链，
resolve
推动解决好基础产品、
the
核心
choking
技术、
points of basic products,
键
core
软件
technologies, and key
等
software
这些方面的
to
难
enhance
点、堵点问题，
the self-reliance of industries
方面
and build more
就是要
resilient
充
supply
分
industrial chains.
发挥
At the
制
same
造业
time,
转型升级基金
We will give full play to the Manufacturing Transformation and Upgrade Fund and other government investment funds as multipliers and attract in a market-oriented manner private capital into key areas of the manufacturing industry to explore new tracks. Second, we will focus on supporting the expansion of domestic demand. For investment, the key lies in expanding effective investment. In 2024, we will make good use of relevant T-bonds, continue to keep a certain scale of local government special purpose bonds, increase as appropriate the scale of investment within the central budget, so as to harness government investment as multipliers. Consumption-wise, the key lies in unlocking potential consumption. In 2024, we will focus on upgrading consumption of our residents. We will promote growth in culture, tourism, education, old age care, and other new growth points. Enhance social security, transfer of payments, increase the income of urban and rural residents, and enhance people's will and ability to consume. Third, we will focus on supporting the effort to invigorate China through science and education. We will continue to increase investment on education and ensure the implementation of the requirements of ensuring that the ratio of state fiscal expenditure on education to GDP is no less than 4%, that fiscal expenditure on education from the general public budget only increases year on year, and that expenditure on education from the general public budget average over total enrollment only increases year on year. To build high-quality education system, we will also support research on key technologies, see to the funding needs of major national scientific projects, and promote high level of scientific self-reliance. Fourth, we will focus on supporting safeguarding and improving people's livelihoods. We will truly give priority to employment and coordinate the use of policies such as tax cuts, social security subsidies, and loan interest subsidies to support entrepreneurship and employment through multiple channels. We will improve the multiple-level social security system and strengthen multi-level social assistance and relief. At the same time, we will strengthen budgetary management of basic living needs, salary payment, and normal government functioning expenditures, and funnel more funds to lower-level governments to steer clear of problems at the community level. Fifth, we will focus on supporting the work on agriculture, rural areas, and rural residents. We will work well to ensure hundreds of billions of grain output, including raising the standard for high standard farmland, safeguard farmers' income from grain cultivation, and improve incentive policies for major grain-producing research. And we will also improve the policy for insurance for three staple grain production and expand that to the entire nation. That will help us increase our food security, which is an effort to implement the strategy of supporting grain production through land and technologies. We will also tap into central fiscal transition funds, strengthen industrial and employment assistance, and support efforts to build on past poverty alleviation achievements. We will also take tailored measures to support agricultural production in different areas. Sixth, we will focus on supporting coordinated development of urban and rural areas. We will vigorously promote new urbanization and support subnational governments in promoting the acquisition of permanent urban residency by rural migrants. We will further improve fiscal and taxation policies in support of major regional and national strategies, and support special regions with stronger policies such as traditional revolutionary bases, ethnic areas, and frontier areas. Seventh and last, we will focus on supporting the strengthening of ecological conservation. We will keep investing, improve fiscal and taxation policies, cultivate endogenous momentum for green and low-carbon transformation, and promote the building of a pilot zone for a new China, new and beautiful China. Thank you. From the paper.
In 2023, China registered 222 billion yuan of new tax and fee cuts, tax refunds, and fee deferrals. Could you please tell us more? And what market entities will benefit from this, and what other considerations are there for 2024?
I will ask my colleague, Director General from the Department of Budget, to answer this question. In 2023, following the requirement that the proactive fiscal policy should be more effective, targeted, and sustainable, we coordinated the need of corporate relief with our fiscal capacity and made our policies more forward-leaning, consistent, and targeted. We continued or improved expiring preferential tax and fee policies as necessary. At the same time, we focused on specific areas and key links and accurately implemented a number of new tax and fee incentives to provide practical support for corporate relief and development and to promote the recovery and rebound of China's economy. First, extension or optimization of more than 70 expiring tax and fee incentives were carried out in a phased manner. At the beginning of the year, we made clear early on that some incentives would be extended and optimized. And in H2, based on the changes in the economic situation, another number of the incentives were extended or optimized. Most of them extended through to the end of 2027. These policies aim to both improve the quality of supply and expand demand, focus on supporting SMEs and the self-employed, strengthen the real economy, support high-standard scientific self-reliance, support more income and consumption to meet people's living needs, and support the stabilization of trade, foreign investment, and the healthy development of the capital market. Second, new tax incentives have been precisely implemented with a focus on specific areas and links. These include implementing the policy of value-added tax deduction for advanced manufacturing to support the high-quality development of the manufacturing industry, increasing the proportion of R&D cost deduction for integrated circuits and industrial motherboards to step up scientific innovation, raising the standard of special additional deduction for personal income tax for the care of infants and children under 3, children's education, and elderly care, so as to further ease the burden of families in child raising and elderly care, and giving tax and fee concessions to the construction and sale of affordable housing projects to improve people's life. And here are some numbers that we got from competent authorities. In 2023, of nationwide tax and fee cuts, tax refunds, and fee deferrals, tax and fee cuts stood at 1.57 trillion yuan, and tax deductibles and refunds at 650 billion yuan. Sector-wise, manufacturing and relevant wholesale and retail sectors registered nearly 950 billion yuan of tax and fee cuts, tax refunds and tax deferrals accounting for 42.6% of the total. This is the sector that benefited most. In terms of corporate size, SMEs enjoyed new tax cuts and refunds of about 1.43 trillion yuan, accounting for 64% of the total. So MSMEs were the ones to benefit most among all companies. In 2024, we will fully implement the deployment of the Central Economic Work Conference, implement the structural tax and fee reduction policies, maintain the continuity and stability of our policies, enhance the precision of the policies, focus on supporting science-tech innovation and development of the manufacturing industry, and strengthen the supply of policies so as to promote the economy to realize effective qualitative enhancement and reasonable quantitative growth.
谢谢主持人。中国财经报记者提问：数据资产已经成为促进数字经济发展的重要战略资源。那么我们也关注到
Data assets have become an important strategic resource to further develop the digital economy. We note that the Ministry of Finance recently issued the guidelines on strengthening data assets management. What are the considerations of the Ministry in strengthening data asset management and promoting the development of the digital economy?
这个问题啊，我请我的同事啊，财政部资产司的
My colleague, the Director General from the Department of Asset Management, will take your question. Thank you for following data asset management. As you rightly said, data assets have become an important strategic resource to promote the development of the digital economy, which is why we must attach importance to and strengthen the management of data assets. In recent years, China has become one of the fastest growing countries in the global digital economy. By the end of 2022, the scale of China's digital economy has reached 50.2 trillion yuan, or 41.5% of GDP. General Secretary Xi Jinping profoundly pointed out that the development of the digital economy is of great significance, and it is a strategic choice to grasp the new opportunities of the new round of sci-tech revolution and industrial transformation. The CPC Central Committee has made a series of major decisions and plans for the development of the digital economy and clearly put forward the requirement for compliance, standardization, and value adding for this industry. Compared with traditional assets, data as a new type of asset is replicable and non-exclusive, so this makes management harder. The Ministry of Finance actively implemented the decisions and plans of the CPC Central Committee and formulated and issued the interim provisions on accounting treatment of enterprise data resources and the guiding opinions on data asset evaluation. More recently, the guiding opinions on strengthening the management of data assets have been formulated and promulgated. All these made clear provisions on the development and utilization of data assets, value evaluation, income distribution, and information disclosure. In doing so, we can promote the compliance and efficient circulation and use of data assets and better release the value of data assets. To increase all-factor productivity. And going forward, we will focus on the following 3 points. First, strengthen whole process management of data assets. We will standardize the registration, storage, use, disclosure, disposal, and other links of data assets. We will build a clear and complete management path. We will promote the recognition of data as assets and bring into fuller play the economic and social value of data assets. Second, promote the development and utilization of data assets. We will encourage the effective supply of public data assets in accordance with laws and regulations, increase the publicity and disclosure of data asset information, and improve the transparency of data asset flow. We will support the exploration of diversified development and utilization models in data-rich industries such as finance, transportation, medical care, and energy. We will establish a reasonable income distribution mechanism to fully mobilize the enthusiasm of all participants. Third, ensure the compliant and secure use of data assets. We will strengthen the monitoring and supervision of data assets, make good use of advanced technologies, and strictly prevent data asset disclosure, damage, loss, and other management risks. At the same time, in evaluation, trading, and other links, we will set up reasonable procedures to strictly prevent value inflation of data assets. Through all this, we will strive to standardize and strengthen the management of data assets, better promote the development of the digital economy, and help all people to share the dividends of the digital economy. Thank you.
Thank you. A question from Bloomberg. Fiscal spending actually contracted in the first several months of last year. How will China pace fiscal spending and/or central and local government bond sales throughout this year? And secondly, what is the front-loaded quota for new local special bonds and general bonds this year, and how does it compare with last year? Thank you.
请翻译一下。
您好，来自彭博社。今年政府支出将增加。在过去的几个月，财政支出实际上有所收缩。今年将如何安排财政支出以及债券发行节奏？今年新增地方专项债券、一般债券提前下达的额度是多少？与去年相比如何？谢谢。
好，这个问题啊，请我的同事啊。
My colleague, Director General from the Department of Treasury, Mr. Li Xianzhong, will take a question. Thank you for your question. That's actually two questions. One on fiscal expenditure and the other on government bonds. On the arrangement of fiscal expenditure, you just mentioned, if my memory serves me right, that government expenditure shrunk in the first few months of last year. But in fact, in the first 5 months of last year, the national general public budget expenditure was 10.48 trillion yuan. That's 0.58 trillion yuan more than the same period in 2022. That's an increase of 5.8%. So in the first 5 months of last year, the intensity of expenditure was large and the progress was fast. In June and July, the national general public budget expenditure declined slightly. That's mainly due to the existence of one-time large expenditure in the same period in 2022, which raised the base number so that the growth rate of expenditure in June and July fell. We were not surprised about that, and there was no contraction of expenditure. So for the whole year, as Minister Wang Dongwei just said, fiscal expenditure in 2023 continued to increase and reached a new high and registered an increase of 5.4%. So we gave full play to the effectiveness of the proactive fiscal policy and provided strong support for the sustained recovery of the economy. On the specific fiscal expenditure budget for 2024, so that is currently being refined and improved in accordance with the decisions and plans of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, and will be submitted to the National People's Congress for review and approval. But what I can tell you here is that fiscal expenditure in 2024 will keep up necessary intensity. Now, on the arrangements for government bonds, so we will issue national government bonds at an early stage within the limit on the balance of government bonds reviewed and approved by the National People's Congress to ensure the necessary intensity of expenditure. In terms of local government bonds, in accordance with the requirements of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, and in accordance with the provisions authorized by the NPC Standing Committee, since 2019, the Ministry of Finance has established a sound management system for issuing quotas for new local government bonds in advance. We guided and urged lower-level governments to improve budget management, rationally arranged the pace of issuance, reduced financing costs, and accelerated the allocation and use of funds. From 2019 to 2023, with the approval of the State Council, the Ministry of Finance issued new bond limits of 1.39 trillion yuan, 2.85 trillion yuan, 2.36 trillion yuan, 1.79 trillion yuan, and 2.62 trillion yuan to various localities in advance, totaling 11.01 trillion yuan. After fulfilling the approval procedure in accordance with the law in December 2023, the Ministry of Finance issued some new local government bond limits in 2024 to all localities in advance, supported the construction of major projects, promoted the generation of fiscal gains, and gave full play to the driving role of local government bonds in the economy. Next question, please.
谢谢主持人。中央广播电视总台央视记者提问：我们知道科技创新是高质量发展的逻辑起点。
We know that as the logical starting point of high-quality development, scientific innovation has a prominent leading role. How will the Ministry of Finance optimize the allocation of innovation resources and promote scientific self-reliance? And what are some new steps for 2024? Thank you.
谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your
这个
question,
问题我来回答。
and I will take your
那
question.
么实施创新驱动战略，
To implement the innovation-driven
实现
strategy
高水平科技自立自强，
and realize
需要
self-reliance in science
健
and
全
technology
新
at a
型
high
举
level,
国体制，
we need to improve the
优
new
化
system
配
for
置
mobilizing
创新资
resources
源，
nationwide,
强化
optimize the
国
allocation
家
of innovation
战
resources,
略科技力量，
strengthen the national strategic
动
technological strength,
产业链、
and
供应链、资
promote
金链、人才链深度融合。
the deep integration of
那么
innovation chains, industrial
近
chains,
年来
capital
啊，
chains, and human
国家
resources
财政
chains. In recent
把
years,
科技作为财
financial
政支
departments
出
at
的
all
重点
levels
领
have
域。
earnestly
优先予以保
implemented
障。
the decisions and plans of the
2018
CPC Central
年
Committee and
到
have kept prioritizing
2023
science and
年，
technology as a key area
那
of
么
fiscal expenditure.
财政科技
From
支出啊，
2018 to 2023, government spending on science and technology
8327
increased
亿元，
from
增长到
832.7 trillion yuan to
10,067亿元，年均增长
1.05
6.4%。
trillion yuan. That's
那么
an
与此同时呢，
annual
我们还
average
运
increase
用
of 6.4%.
税
At the
收
same
优
time,
惠、
we used
政
tax
府采购、
incentives,
资产
government
管理、
procurement,
财
asset
政金融
management, and
等
other policy
综
tools
合的这各方面的政策工具，
to
大力支持科技
jointly
创新。
support scientific and technological
在中央
innovation
一系列的
with
政
the
策
support
支持
of financial
和
support
财力
and
有力的
policies
保障下，
from the central government.
大家都知道，2023
We
年呢，
all see
我们
that
这
in
个现在
2023,
国家实验室体系呢是加快的形成，
the formulation of a national laboratory system is
加
accelerating.
速布局
The
建
planning
设，
and construction of large science
神舟
facilities
17
are
号
accelerating.
成功发射，
Shenzhou 17
C
was successfully
919
launched.
大
The
飞机实现商用，
C919 large passenger
人工智
airliner
能、
entered commercial
量子
service,
科技、
and a number of
生
innovative
物制
achievements
造
in
等
AI,
领域
quantum
一大批
technology,
创新成
and
果相
biomanufacturing
继的涌
have
现。
emerged one after
那么
another.
2024年呢，
In
财政部门
2024,
啊将采取更加有力的、
the
更
Ministry
加
of
有
Finance
力有
will
效的
take
举措
more
呀，来
effective
推动以
and proactive
科技
measures
创新
to promote
引
the
领
construction of a
现代化
modern
产业体
industrial
系
system
建设，
that is led by
大力发展
technological
新
innovation
质生产力。
and develop
我
qualitatively
想从
new
两个方
productive
面
forces.
再对这方面再讲一下。
Now, I'd
一
like
个
to
呢，就是
elaborate
在
on
政
this
策的取
in two
向上，
areas. First, on policy orientation, we will focus on the following 4 areas. First, strengthen the principal position of enterprises in innovation. We will implement structural tax and fee reduction policies and focus on supporting sci-tech innovation and the development of the manufacturing industry. We will give full play to the guiding role of finance. We will encourage more financial resources and private capital to go to technological innovation and promote the accumulation of various innovation factors in enterprises. Second, focus on the role of demand. We will make good use of the strength of the large-scale domestic market and make greater efforts to promote the application of innovation results. We will implement and improve the insurance compensation policy for the first batch of applications of major technical equipment and new materials, and crack the initial application bottleneck in a market-oriented way. Third, focus on improving the resilience and security of industrial and supply chains. We will integrate and optimize relevant special funds, focus on key industrial chains, and support breakthroughs in a number of weak technologies. We will implement the financial support policy for innovative SMEs that use special and sophisticated technologies to produce novel and unique products and drive more enterprises to follow suit. Fourth, focus on stimulating the vitality and enthusiasm of scientific researchers. There are 2 pilot programs. One, we will support the pilot reform of the salary system in universities and research institutes. And second, accelerate the pilot reform of the ownership or long-term use right of sci-tech achievements. In doing so, we will further mobilize the enthusiasm of scientific researchers to innovate and create. So that's for 4 focuses on policy orientation. Next, in terms of the use of funds, we will work harder to deepen the reform of the mechanism for allocating and using financial funds for science and technology, strengthening the overall coordination of sci-tech tasks and funds. We aim to achieve the following 4 goals. First, build a strong foundation. We will invest more in basic research, applied basic research, and cutting-edge research, and support efforts to improve our capacity for original innovation. Second, achieve breakthroughs. We will make every effort to win the battle for key and core technologies, support the layout and implementation of a number of major national sci-tech projects, and accelerate our efforts to seize the commanding heights of science and technology. Third, build up strength. That means we will give priority to national laboratories, national research institutions, high-level research universities, and leading scientific and technological enterprises, and support the strengthening of the national strategic technological strength. Fourth, improve efficiency. We will strengthen the coordination of innovative resources such as projects, funds, bases, and talent. Strengthen performance management in an all-round way, and strive to make the use of science and technology funds more effective. So that's all I have to say on this question. The next one, please.
谢谢主持人。新华社记者提问。我们都知道，三农是经济社会发展的压舱石，然后粮食安全。
We all know that the agricultural rural areas and Residents are the anchor of socioeconomic development, and food security is the top priority. In 2023, China had another bumper harvest. How has the ministry supported grain production and food security? What will you do next?
我想这个问题呢，还是请我的同事李宪忠先生来回答。
Thank you. I will ask Mr. Li Xianzhong to take this question. Thank you for your question. Food security is a top priority of the country. In 2023, the ministry has always taken food security of the nation as the top priority of the fiscal policy in support of agricultural development. In 2023, this has helped provide strong underpinnings for the country's grain production to hit a new record high. More specifically, we focused on two things. First, we focused on cementing the foundation for food security and provided more policies support. First, we had optimized and adjusted the central agriculture-related transfer of payment policy. For example, new funds have been set up to guarantee grain and oil production to support the construction of centralized rice plant transplanting facilities and the planting of special soybean and corn varieties. Second, we gave play to the role of fiscal funds as the main channel, implemented the strategy of supporting grain production with land and technologies. We earmarked 92 billion yuan to support the development or upgrade of 80 million mu of high-standard farmland, promoted the protection and utilization of black soil, and launched a pilot project for the comprehensive utilization of silent alkalite land. We supported revitalization of the seed industry and stepped up the level of agricultural mechanization. Third, we continue to improve the integrated policy system of prices, subsidies, and insurance. We raised the minimum procurement price of wheat, stabilized the implementation of the arable land fertility protection subsidy and rice subsidy, increased support for large grain-producing counties, and expanded the scope of full cost and planting income insurances for the major three grain crops to all major grain-producing counties nationwide. Fourth, we improved the diversified input mechanism, harnessed the multiplier effect of fiscal spending, and attracted investment from the financial sector and private capital. We began the pilot scheme of loan interest subsidies for high-standard farmland. So that is the first aspect. For another, we focused on strengthening financial support for key links and seasons in grain production. First, during the sowing season in spring, to stabilize farmers' expectations and reduce the cost of grain cultivation, we earmarked 10 billion yuan as one-time agricultural subsidy for grain farmers. Second, to step up resilience against pests, diseases, drought, heat waves, and protect summer wheat, we earmarked 1.6 billion yuan to support implementation of the 1 sprayed and 3 preventive measures for main producing areas of wheat. Third, to cope with the impact of rotting rain in Henan and other places, as well as typhoons and floods in localized areas of North China and Northeast China, disaster relief funds were quickly allocated. And we also supported stricken areas to resume production and recover from the impact of the disasters. Fourth, during the important stage of autumn harvest, we earmarked 2.4 billion yuan in support of the 1 spray and multiple preventive measures in northern areas for an autumn harvest in 2024. The Ministry of Finance elevated the subsidy for high-standard arable land, and we have continued to support revitalization of the seed industry, provided more support for agricultural equipment and social services for the agricultural sector. And we have explored a compensation mechanism for grain to be sold across regions and provinces. We have improved the diversified investment mechanism to better safeguard national food security. Thank you.
谢谢。封面新闻记者提问。随着我国人口老龄化程度的加深
As Chinese people continue to live longer, some are concerned about whether the pension can be paid on time and in full, and whether the pension system will be sustainable. What's the Ministry of Finance take on this?
My colleague, Mr. Hou Junming, the Director General of the Department of Asset Management, will take your questions. Thank you. Your question? Your question is of great interest to our society. As population graying are accelerating in China, providing for the elderly is an important livelihood project. The payment of pensions is related to numerous households and the well-being of the people. In order to ensure that pensions are paid in full and on time, financial departments at all levels have actively played their roles in recent years, focusing on the following three areas. First, we continued to increase financial subsidies. In 2023, the central government allocated about 1 trillion yuan in basic old age insurance subsidies, with a focus on central and western regions and old industrial bases that have financial difficulties. Lower-level governments also shouldered relevant expenditure responsibilities to ensure the timely and full payment of basic pensions. Second, we implemented a nationwide plan for old age insurance. In accordance with the central government's arrangement, this system has been implemented since 2022, and reasonable adjustments of fund balances across the country has been carried out. By 2023, a total of 271.6 billion yuan has been allocated, effectively solving the problem of uneven distribution of pension burdens and fund balances among regions. Third, we strengthened the management of pension insurance funds. We worked with relevant departments to regulate the financial behavior of lower-level governments across the country, promoted more equitable and reasonable financing and treatment policies, and promoted a fairer and more sustainable pension insurance system. By implementing the above measures, the income and expenditure balance has obviously improved in recent years. By the end of 2023, the accumulated balance of basic old age insurance funds for enterprise employees nationwide was close to 6 trillion yuan. As such, pensions will be paid in full and on time. At the same time, in accordance with the arrangements of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council, we also arranged special funds to support the implementation of old age service projects, such as the pilot program to improve basic old age care services at home and in communities, and centralized care for the economically disabled elderly. We introduced a series of preferential tax policies to import the development of the old age service industry, supported the development of the silver economy, and enabled the elderly to have pension money. They also have access to affordable and quality elderly care services. In 2024, we will focus on the following two areas. On the one hand, we will further increase central financial subsidies, further implement the national pension insurance system, improve relevant systems and mechanisms, and properly manage the people's pension money. On the other hand, we will further increase support for elderly care services. We will improve institutional, community, and home care service networks. We will promote the coordinated development of elderly care services and the elderly care industry, so as to improve the quality and efficiency of elderly care services. Thank you for your question. The next one, please. Two more questions, please. We know that budget performance management is very important to enhance the effective use of fiscal funds. How far has your ministry gone in this regard, and what will you do to make budget performance management more effective in 2024?
Thank you. I ask Mr. Wang Jianfan to take this question. Improving performance management system is an important part of improving budget performance management. In 2018, the CPC Central Committee and the State Council issued opinions on the comprehensive implementation of budget performance management, giving clear instructions on budget performance management. Implementing the decision, the Ministry of Finance established and improved the system, made budget performance management more effective, and built preliminarily a whole process budget performance management mechanism. We guided all regions and departments to follow the concept of performance and enhanced the effectiveness of implementation of fiscal policies and the quality of public services. In 2023, the ministry was both goal and problem-oriented and made efforts to make up for our shortcomings and improve our work in key areas. Mainly in the following 6 areas. First, we explored performance pre-assessments in conjunction with budget reviews and project approvals. We carried out performance pre-assessment of new and extended major projects, as well as new transfers of payment of central authorities, so that we can make sure budget formulation is better conceived. Second, performance target management has been strengthened. On the basis of achieving full coverage of performance target management of project spendings, transfer of payment within central and local fiscal purviews, and special transfer of payment of central authorities, guidance has been provided to the central authorities and local financial departments to set performance targets in a well-conceived way and strengthen review of performance targets for key projects and improve the quality of performance target setting. Third, performance supervision has been stepped up. During budget execution, performance supervision is carried out based on the integrated central budget management system, which analyzes implementation progress of key projects and the attainment of performance targets, as well as fixes deviations in fund management loopholes in a timely manner. Fourth, we improved the quality and effectiveness of performance assessment. We have organized a comprehensive performance self-assessment of project spendings, transfer payment within central and local fiscal purviews, and special transfer payment of central authorities. In accordance with the principles of priority and quality, we assessed the performance of 52 projects in key areas such as education, science-tech, agriculture, and rural areas. Fifth, we stepped up the application of assessment results, linking the assessment results with budget arrangements. We lowered to different extents the budget for central projects with lower scores in key fiscal performance assessments in 2023. For regions with poorer performance, we reduced as necessary transfer payment arrangements. Sixth, we worked to report and disclose performance assessment. The performance goal and assessment results of key projects were reported to the MPC. And together with the public disclosure of the budget of central authorities, we organized central authorities to disclose the performance goal of 811 projects and assessment results of 745 projects, an increase over the previous year. As a next step, the Ministry of Finance will continue to improve the budget performance management system in accordance with the overall requirements for a sound and modernized budget system, and give better play to the role of budget performance management in optimizing the allocation of resources and improving the effective use of funds.
The last question, please. The Central Economic Work Conference has made important arrangements for the building of a modernized industrial system. So what has the ministry done to support the building of such system? What are the policy considerations for 2024?
Thank you for the question. It's a question that is very important and one that is closely followed by market entities. General Secretary Xi Jinping emphasized that a modern industrial system is the material foundation of a modernized country, and that the focus of economic development must be placed on the real economy. In 2023, the Ministry of Finance has taken a host of measures in a targeted way to accelerate the building of a modernized industrial system underpinned by the real economy. We have taken the following measures. First, promoting the development of strategic and emerging industries. We have introduced the policy of value-added tax deduction for advanced manufacturing enterprises, improved the special funds for manufacturing, government investment funds, the first unit or set of key equipment insurance compensation, and other support policies. Accelerated the advancement of key technologies and industries in making up for shortcomings, and enhanced the resilience and security of industrial and supply chains. This gave rise to new industries, business models, and new momentum. Let me just give you an example. For the implementation of the first unit or set of key equipment and first application of key materials insurance compensation policy, the central government subsidized 80% of the premiums of insured companies and supported the application of more than 30,000 units or sets of key equipment. Second, promoting the transformation and upgrade of traditional industries. Through special funds for manufacturing at the central level, we rendered stronger support to new generation information technologies and industrial internet platforms to provide technological support for the digital transformation of traditional industries. We allocated 3 billion yuan to pilot the digital transformation of MSMEs. And 30 pilot cities have been identified in the first batch on the basis of merit to guide local governments in strengthening policy coordination and promoting the integration of the digital economy and the real economy. Third, promoting the development of SMEs that use special and sophisticated technologies to produce novel and unique products. We have continued to provide financial awards and subsidies for such SMEs and guided SMEs to be more innovative and specialized. By the end of 2023, more than 12,000 national-level small giants that use special and sophisticated technologies to produce novel and unique products, and more than 100,000 provincial ones were established. At the same time, the State SME Development Fund has been fully tapped into to mobilize capital to support innovation and development of seed and startup stage SMEs. As of the end of 2023, the SME Development Fund has invested cumulatively in 36 sub-funds, and the cumulative investment amount of the sub-funds was about 47.76 billion yuan, of which more than 70% was invested in seed and startup stage SMEs. In 2024, the Ministry of Finance will, in accordance with the decisions and guidelines of the CPC Central Committee and the State Council on promoting new type industrialization and enhancing the core competitiveness of industries, give full play to the leading role of fiscal funds and the mobilizing role of government investment funds, support the development and expansion of strategic emerging industries, promote the transformation and upgrade of traditional industries at a faster pace, promote in an accelerated way the cultivation and exploration of new tracks, and serve the building of a modernized industrial system. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished guest speakers. Thank you, friends from media. That's it for today's press conference. See you next time.